Real Talk with Grace Redman features conversations with fierce and fabulous people from Grace's community and circle who inspire others with their stories of overcoming challenges to create amazing. Grace is an entrepreneur and success coach who works with individuals to diminish their negative mental chatter, boost their confidence, achieve their goals, and increase their prosperity mindset. Get ready for a series of anything goes conversations with remarkable men and women that will get you jazzed for life's unlimited possibilities of success, freedom, and fun. Welcome to Real Talk with Grace Redman.
Thank you guys so much for joining us on this episode of Real Talk, where I get to have real life, raw conversations with incredible people from my circles and communities who have overcome challenges and created amazing. Today, my guest is Sema Tosun. Born and raised in Turkey, Sema moved to America with her family at the age of 7. Currently, Sema is a mortgage loan officer with Guarantee Mortgage and the owner of Stamp Bar and Grill restaurant in San Carlos. Having a lifelong passion to give back and help those less fortunate, CEO and founder Sema decided to pursue a lifelong dream and founded her own nonprofit, Fund a Need, in February of 2014. Fund a Need provides services, goods, education, and support to the many struggling, vulnerable, low-income seniors in San Mateo County. Through her many collaborative partnerships with city leaders, dignitaries, and law enforcement, Sema hopes to continue to pass on the important message of advocacy and support within her community. Sema currently resides in Redwood Shores with her husband, Steve. Welcome, Sema.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here. Thank you for having me as a guest.
Oh, I'm so excited to chat. I remember when I first met you, I was like, oh my God, I love her. We have so much to talk about.
Thank you. I think the feeling was mutual, both the energies and all that, like you just clicked right away.
Totally.
I want to thank you for having this amazing platform to interview such amazing people. I've been listening to a few of your interviews since I met you, and we need more of you and your energy. So thank you for providing this and giving so much back, and have really appreciative of that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And it really wouldn't be without the incredible, guests like you that come on. I wouldn't be able to do it. So I appreciate it. And I appreciate your time for coming on. And speaking of, giving back, I mean, sister, you give back so much in so many different ways. And one thing, I wanted to, there's so many things I want to touch on, but something that fascinates me is starting your own nonprofit. Like for me, that seems like so over my head. I wouldn't even know where to start. So maybe you could just tell us like what motivated you to do something like that.
It's funny you said that. It was when I decided to do it, it was just something like it just came out and said, I want to do this. And I knew I was into something big, but at the same time, I was scared. Growing up in the Bay Area, I did banking for 25 years. I was a branch manager, did, investments for many, many years. And through that, I got involved with the chamber, did a lot of activities, community work through the chamber, which then got me exposed to this world of nonprofits that as a banker, I started to go to a lot of these things, volunteer, Samaritan House, Hip Housing, Boys and Girls Club, and all these amazing organizations. To me was like, wow, I love doing it. It just came naturally. I would volunteer in a lot of these places. And, being born in Turkey, we have a huge respect and love for our seniors. So I come from a family of, there are, the temple of the hierarchy in the family, our grandparents. And being involved in the Bay Area with these nonprofits, I realized what a youth community we are, youth oriented.
That's true.
Part of technology, which is great, for that. But I saw a huge niche of our aging community, which is our seniors and the vulnerable seniors. And there really are not much resources out there. And so when I saw that crack there, as far as, there's some things that I think I want a voice. And I literally got up one day. I said, I'm going to start a nonprofit that's going to help seniors Luckily, you know, I come from a banking financial background. My first call was to my CPA bookkeeper to say, you know, how do I do this? I know this is, you know, how do I even begin? And that's how Fun and Need started. And we're just continuing to do amazing things.
That's amazing. I mean, that's been since 2014.
Yeah.
So it's been many years. So,
Yeah.
so would you say the first step was just to the CPA to find out, okay, what do I need to do?
Yeah, getting all my, you know, paperwork ready. California, I think anywhere, it's highly regulated, opening a nonprofit 501c. So I wanted to make sure all my documents were in order. And secondly, I mean, I was involved in a lot of, you know, nonprofits and being volunteers for them, but I didn't even know what steps to take. I mean, it was like, what do I do now? How do I begin? Where's the logo? How do I even come up with a name?
Yeah.
Get the things out there. And I used my resources, my niche of community that I had, that I was already volunteering in. I would contact all those people and say, how, you know, this is what I'm doing. How do I begin? I would ask them questions all the time, call them, email them. And I was relentless. And they helped me through the whole process. To this day, I'm still learning it. You're still growing, and it's a business. It is a nonprofit, but it is a business in the sense and how you have to grow it, establish it, getting the word out there again. And the sphere of people that I had around me had and continue to be amazing, and they're my biggest resources. I still continue to do that. Yeah.
That's so important. I think that's something we touched on before we went live, is like, you know, we can't, as entrepreneurs, or anyone, you can't do it alone. Like, you need a tribe, you need a team, you need a community to help in whatever you're doing. There's like this old, I know in my mind, there was like, okay, you have to do it alone. That's, you can't, you're not doing it alone.
You can't. You know, even doing it with your tribe of people, and it's a wonderful thing. Use those resources.
Absolutely.
Because anything that you do out of your comfort zone, it's going to be uncomfortable. But in order to entice or ignite any change, you have to come out of your comfort zone. And there's something scary about it, but that scary is actually a good thing. Like, you feel scared and you're nervous, that's actually a good thing, because you're really starting that process, taking those steps to make that change.
Yes. And I've also learned that scary and excitement are the same emotion. Like, you kind of feel the same emotions, and getting out of your comfort zone gives you life.
Yeah, I mean, you have to in any business. You know, we have a restaurant. We had one, we closed that one. We just recently opened another one right during the pandemic. We're very fortunate that we're still open.
Thank goodness.
You're still learning. You're still trying to navigate through all those hardships. But, you know, honestly, if you know, being successful and having power does not make you strong. You know, it makes you've succeeded. You were good at that. You succeeded in that. What really actually makes you strong and is really the struggles you deal with.
Amen.
It's like, boom, whoa, what happened? You know, and I'll give an example. When I was starting the nonprofit, I thought, you know, I could do this kind of on my own and, you know, navigating through it as far as the website. And I said, no, you know, I knew that I had my ups and downs, but I said, Sema, get up, you know, we're going to look at other options. Let's get to know some people that can recommend somebody. You know, it's a little thing, but that made me stronger. It would have easily been easy for me to give up, or any of us, in anything that we do, personal or business. But what really makes us stronger, Grace, is when we are able to overcome those struggles. And that's what polishes you. That's what starts building on that strength. So don't be afraid of that. That's going to happen.
Absolutely. And I believe that there's no failure. It's only feedback. We learn from our mistakes.
Education. Absolutely.
Yes. And one of my favorite analogies is the piece of coal. The coal goes under pressure, you know, under this tremendous pressure for a long period of time, and then comes out this brilliant, priceless diamond.
Yes.
And I feel that's how we are as human beings. And I used to resent my struggles. I mean, you know, as like most of us, I experienced a lot of loss, a lot of struggle, a lot of pain. And I used to just resent it. And now when I look back, I'm like, but that shaped me. It made me more resilient. It made me wiser. And who would I be without those pains and struggles?
Absolutely. It teaches you. I still continue to every day. I'm
Well,
still
me
learning.
too.
And those moments where we all have, and I know we all have them out there. Like you have them, I have them personally, with business, everything, with ourselves, right? We've been going through this awful pandemic where I think it's, self-love and kind of looking within ourselves. I think we all learned something about ourselves, right?
Sure.
And even with the hardships, and to say like, oh my God, it was so awful. How can this happen to me? I guarantee you, whether it's a month or a year, or maybe a couple of years down the line, that is you'll build on that. You'll
Yes.
learn from that. And
Yes.
you're a better person because of that.
Absolutely.
Whether you even realize it or not, something
Yes.
has, you've changed inside.
Mhm.
That, as weird as it sounds, I'm actually grateful for those.
For sure.
Grateful for having those struggles and the difficulties and the people around me that were trying to maybe bring me down, and to say, hey, I can honestly say like, well, look at where I am today. And I appreciate things so much more.
Yes, it's the nuggets, and like you said, we all go through it. I mean, yes, I'm always positive, and yes, I teach how to reframe and how to kind of move from the negativity. But me myself, I mean, this week I felt it. Whatever, I'm going through something, I don't know what it was, and I just felt a little bit funky. But it's also a message to me that there's something that needs to change. There's something in my life that I need to look at. Like, okay, there has to be a shift. I'm growing. Something needs to change. So now I feel into it instead of just get so, oh, let me, because we have
it. Like instead of feeding into it and kind of bringing
exactly feeding into it or sweeping it under the rug. Because, my community, the world around me has a really good way of sweeping things under the rug.
Yeah, covered
Okay.
up.
I'm feeling some kind of way. I'm going through something, and let me just, lean into it, because I know this is going to make me stronger. Whatever I'm experiencing is because I need to make a change, and whatever that is, I'm going to be stronger for it.
Yeah, you kind of have to face it head on, even if it's yourself. Like literally, you have these discussions, and maybe with yourself. I mean, I always say when my friends and stuff ask me if we're out, I'm like, well, how do you seem to keep it together? It's like, well, first of all, I don't keep it together, I have hairstyles.
You look crazy. I'm good keeping it together.
I don't. I'm like the last person. I have things from everywhere coming at me. But it's sometimes we do like spring cleaning, right? You do spring cleaning, or you're like, okay, I'm gonna kind of clean my closet, things I haven't been wearing in a couple of years. I'm gonna donate those, what have you. I think the first thing we should do is with ourselves. Sometimes we're putting ourselves through a filter. If you want to fly, get rid of the things that weigh you down.
Yes.
And maybe when we put ourselves through that filter, this could be people that are weighing us down, things that we're throwing under the rug, like you said, which is, and really coming face on with it. And taking care of ourselves, like doing us. Like I always tell my friends, like, do you.
Yes.
Because if you don't do you, you're not going to be a good friend to me. You're not going to be a good partner, or a husband, or a wife, or a mother, or, that comes first and foremost. And it's very important.
Absolutely.
To take care of you and do you. Yeah.
I agree. I mean, I say that as well. Although, again, I go back to the world around us. We grew up in a world around us that said, give everything before you give to yourself, but there was never left to give. But I use the analogy, like if the car is empty, how are you going to drive it? So if we're empty, if my cup is empty, how am I going to give back? So yeah, do you is not selfish, like my friend and sister Tiffany says. It's selfful. When you do you, it's selfful. So what is something you do for yourself, Sema, to help you stay grounded?
God, well, I do work out a lot. If anyone follows me on social media, all of a sudden, like, I'm not this person, right? I love that. I do a little bit of boxing. I work out. I go for runs. Running it's almost like meditation to me. Or if I'm working out, it really grounds me. It really puts things into perspective. That things that I was dwelling on that morning really probably isn't even worth thinking about. So I do that as far as the health. And I really surround myself, I actually make an effort to make sure I surround myself with positive, good people that are going to be supportive and lift me up. So, making that mental note to say, what am I doing in my day-to-day life to make my life better? Actually making note of that. So those are some of the simple things I do, and doing what I do with like Fund a Need. I mean, that just fills my heart. That's
Totally.
That's
being of service. I mean, and I'm with you. I mean, those are also three things that really help me. Is I love to exercise. Also, I exercise all the. I do everything. I go to all different studios. And also, giving back, being of service. And it's really, like you said, really important. And I do this as well. I'm very, very careful of who I surround myself with.
Yeah. Yep.
Because we are the sum of the 5 people that we spend the most time with.
Mm-hmm. And it's who's around you in that sphere.
Right.
They do affect you. And I think, and I had that. When I come out of my comfort zone to do something like going from banking, and I'm not really financially really well off. When you look at people that actually starts foundations or nonprofits, it's really in a big organizational format, or there's lots of money that is already there that they want to invest in this nonprofit that they believe in or want to invest in. With me, it was just like, I'm going to do it. My message was just to do good. And if I can use that and give seniors as an example to help. And if someone said, oh, that's cool, that's really neat, I saw something like that on social media, or I saw this, if I'm having an event, maybe if that, gives you the motivation to call your grandmother or your mother that you haven't talked to, then Fund a Need has done its job. And that's really where my foundation began with, is just to kind of pass on that legacy of just really thinking about our seniors.
Absolutely. I mean, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be here without our elders, our seniors, without their wisdom.
Oh, absolutely.
Without the path that they've paved for us.
Oh, absolutely. I mentioned, they were really, my parents, my great grandparents were really the motivation towards why I wanted to bring that compassion here, and the idea of being good to your seniors and helping those people that you see that, may need a hand, or, let alone people on the streets. Maybe this could be your own grandparents and family that you're not seeing in the senior centers. I mean, you should see the things that I see, that they're so lonely. Sometimes that's all they want, is just someone to visit them. And, my great grandparents, that's my family, my mom, that's what they taught me. Whatever you do, put love and compassion.
Yes.
Everything that you do, because it really shows. And, through Fund a Need, that my thing is to really give that and show that, look, let's have love and compassion for our seniors, and hopefully broaden that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's necessary, because like you said, our youth is important, and our seniors are just as important as our youth. So can you tell us maybe one story, a really impactful moment that you had with Fund a Need, maybe with a group of seniors or one senior, if you could share something with us that was impactful.
We do a lot right now. We in San Mateo County, we actually touch, I think we've gone to about 6,000 seniors in the Bay Area. So we go from like Palo Alto up to San Francisco, kind of, and it's all hands on what we do. The biggest thing that I had, the impact, as far as I knew that there was such a need, was we did a seminar about just how seniors can be mindful of the elder abuse, right? So there's actually a lot, coming again from a financial background, I would see at the bank like elder financial abuse all the time. So, maybe what I'm going to say is not going to sound so compassionate, but I saw, and it comes again, it streams from them being so lonely that no one's really giving them this advice to say, hey, these are the resources you have. We provided, and in doing that educational seminar, we got together with teachers, financial bankers, and law enforcement and local politicians. And so we literally went to these senior centers in the Bay Area and did seminars on that.
Nice.
And afterwards, so we provided some tablets, donations to them so they can maybe get their medications online. We provided services, free services. Oh, I've fallen, but I can't get up. Those things that you see on TV. And anything that we can think of is going to be for the better of the seniors. And after that, Grace, within I think a month after, I was inundated with calls and emails as to the stories that I was hearing and how it affected them, even just giving them the message of what to do, what not to do. And amazing story. You know, the lady had gotten mugged and she now knew what to do. I mean, all these things. Another one had a story about, you know, it was just amazing.
That's beautiful.
I mean, there's a lot. We've taken so many out of the streets, and we provided money for their hotels to stay until we got them help into a living shelter, and to the most basic things, providing food and services through the restaurant. You know, I use all the resources I have. I use my surroundings, my family, even my own business at the restaurant. We provided during the pandemic food, hot food, not just canned food. You know, we kind of go a little further, hot food bowls, and just literally went and delivered it to them, from meals to goods and services, things that they don't have in their homes, you know, heaters, you name it, we've done it. We've touched
I love that.
thousands of lives, and we're very happy about that.
I mean, really, in reality, you probably don't even realize the impact that you have, because it spreads so much further than you could really see, or the feedback that you get.
Oh, absolutely. And some of it, as weird as it is, one of the biggest things that I've realized is the volunteers. So our volunteer base is, so Fund and Need is, there is no overhead. Okay, so we are zero. Any money that is donated to Fund and Need goes straight to Fund and Need. So what we do, no one gets a paycheck. I don't have any employees. It's all volunteer based. Wow. So that is so amazing to see. You know, our age group of volunteers, when we have like drives or events, goes from, I'm not kidding, like age 6 to seniors too. And like mothers, we have, again, I involve lots of community people. I like to co-host with small businesses. So yes, here I am doing this good deed with Fund and Need, and we have these volunteers, but I want to incorporate the community and bring a sense of community. I think we really need that back. I think we lost that.
Yes, I love that. And so I love that.
I try to incorporate anything and for the better, and people love it. And seeing that an amazing amount of people that I met through this journey has just been, I feel so lucky and fortunate. I think that's been the biggest thing I've learned, you know, gotten from it, is the people that I met.
And people, I mean, that's how we thrive. We thrive from the connection with others. As human beings, I know some people are introverted, some people are extroverted, but regardless, I feel like we thrive from the connection with people, and community is our core.
Oh, you know, absolutely. I think, you know, regardless of, we have cell phones, you know, social media, it's great. I would like to see more of things like this on social media. Yes. I think, unfortunately, you know, there's a lot of negativity there, and I would hope that we're more diligent and mindful of what we put out there. And, you know, and what we see too, you know, ask questions, just like if you're going to ask people questions, or ask me, come to me if you're interested in doing that. Use me, you know, call me. I will be a help and resource to you. But at the same time, you know, I think we should also ask questions when we see something and say, is this, you know, is this really true? And really come out of that. Yes, coming out of your comfort zone. Maybe you're not following the trend, which is all these new words and terms, right? You know, it's all the trend, and it's generation of hashtag generation, which you know, is unfortunate, I think, in a lot of ways. And to instill a real sense of like dialogue and feeling and compassion.
Respect.
You can't do that on social media, you know. I think it's so much more important now, you know, to do it now. And it's very important.
And also it's about respect, kindness, compassion. And that's important, considering, you know, everything that, you know, we've been through.
Yep. Yeah.
And what you said earlier, it's like going back and reflecting within ourselves. So, you know, if you find that, you know, you're in that place of, you know, disrespect or anger what are you making that mean about you? Where is that coming from?
Well, coming here at the age of 7, I came here from Turkey, and I grew up in the Bay Area, right? Going to school was very tough. I know for my brothers and I, it was very, very tough. Imagine my parents coming here, and they're tailors. I mean, they literally made what they have and gave us with a needle and a thread. I mean, no joke. Those are really our heroes, right? Like,
yeah.
They have this invisible cape, like my mom, she's my hero. I think she walks around with this invisible cape. But, it was hard. Like that at that time, it was just, we called it people being mean. Nowadays, again, it's bullying. There's all these new terms. I just say it's just people being mean. It was so hard. It was so hard, growing up in the Bay Area, coming from another country. You get teased a lot. You get bullied a lot. Even through, high school and college, it was very, very hard. And luckily, I have very strong parents, especially my mom. She pretty much raised us as a single mom with my 2 older brothers. Always instilled, being humble, but also strength. She's one of those, like, very queen-esque. She's a very queen-esque lady. She's always very humble and loving and compassionate, but never holding, always holding her ground and having this strength at the same time, and balancing that. And so lucky and fortunate. And she's, still, I try to get as much as I can from her, because she does it with such class and such poise.
Yes.
Very fortunate, lucky that, she was with us and she supported us. And, also, of course, my dad and other family members. It's hard. You got to, keep moving forward, And
although, I'm American born, born in the United States, my parents immigrated, from Palestine, and same thing. It was very challenging, for them and for us, because we were caught between 2 worlds. And, and we also experienced the discrimination.
Oh, of course.
But one thing that I always kept in mind was the other person is just, maybe doesn't have the knowledge or is coming from a place of fear. And so although there were times that I felt devastated, I also recognized that, the person just doesn't know. If they really knew me, if they knew us, they wouldn't say those things. So it's also about education.
Absolutely. It's just, they don't really know much. Of course, they're just talking, and they think they know it, or they think they know your culture. But of course, having the discrimination, it's funny in a sense. It's going to sound weird, but sometimes the way I look at it, we call them haters, right? People that well, in a way I see it, I kind of respect them. I know this, but I'm going to finish what I'm going to say is.
I love it. I want to hear.
They're actually your biggest fans.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That should be on a t-shirt.
Yes. My haters are my biggest fans.
They're your biggest fans. And trust me, Grace, I went through it, even with the businesses I did, and with my own personal successes with my family. I'm very lucky. I come from a family that really has stepped out of their boundaries. Like, I have 2 older brothers, they're big musicians in Turkey. So I kind of grew up seeing that, like, wow, like we can be different than even from people from our own family. And that kind of paved the way for me. So I'm very proud to be, did we grow up perfectly? No. And that's why
None of us did.
Hey.
None of us did. Girl, we grew up perfectly. We all have dysfunctional shit.
You guys are gonna have haters, you guys are gonna have people that are gonna be jealous and envious, and take that as a motivation. I know I did. I have people saying, like, what are you doing, Sema? Why would you start a nonprofit? Like, what are you thinking? Right? Like you mentioned earlier, I said, if not me, then who? I want to.
I love that.
That was really my simple answer. And I say the same thing to this day after 7 years later. And it's just, don't let it bring you down. Let that motivate you, because Absolutely. That's a sign that you're doing something right.
Yes. I agree.
As long as you're putting love and compassion and you're not hurting anyone, then take that as a sign, like, whoa, I'm igniting some fire here. And that's what keeps me going, because people like that, obviously.
Right. And exactly, you're igniting a fire, you're triggering something in them, which means like there's something waking up in them.
Hmm. Yeah,
And
exactly.
also, I mean, we've all had haters. I've had many, and I used to get so frustrated and angry. And then I remembered Steve Harvey, and not only Steve Harvey, but so many other of the motivational influencers say, "How do you respond to your haters?" You don't.
No, you don't.
You don't. I don't even respond. I just keep it moving.
Then you'd be kind of going on their level. I think
Totally.
the things we do is the only response they need, anyways, is what you're doing and you're putting it out there.
Right. And you know what? In reality, you're going to be impacting so many more people, and there's just going to be a small fraction that you're triggering, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
And then you're creating the impact. So the haters are definitely a gift.
Good. Focus on the people that you're making a positive impact on.
Exactly.
And continue on that trail. And again, it's there's another thing that I keep in my mind. Your eyes will see what your heart interprets.
Mm.
And I truly believe this, and I think we should first start to see with our hearts. And so
Yes.
I have this love here, so it's like that was not.
Yes, I love that. I saw that.
But I just realized that.
Yeah.
And then you'll start to see things in a more beautiful way. And if we start to maybe look at things with our hearts first, I guarantee you'll see things in a better way. It'll be more positive.
For sure.
Negativity, put it aside.
For sure. And really at the end of the day, there's only two main emotions, love and fear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I always say love is not that it's always easy, because I struggle sometimes, I have to love from a distance sometimes. But love is always the answer.
Yeah, it doesn't fail. If being true to yourself and doing what's right, and if you've been an impact in a good way, keep on that. And if I live my day, when I go to bed at night, if I put up my head down on my pillow, like how did I impact someone in a good way? There's this commercial that I love. They don't air it, but it's years ago. I think it's an farmer's insurance. And the commercial is like one person does they drop their towel and she picks it up. And then after that, a baby's, pacifier falls, they pick it up. And so they get motivated to do something nice to the next person.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the trickle effect of just kindness.
Yes.
It doesn't cost us anything.
Mm-hmm.
And if we live out like that negativity, if we just smile at someone or be nice and say something nice to somebody, I guarantee you that negativity will wash away, because that love, that good feeling that's going to feed you with endorphins of being nice is going to overpower the negativity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm addicted to those endorphins. I'm addicted to that low vibration. I'm telling you, I don't like being in the low vibration because I'm so addicted to that feeling of joy. And you're right. It transmutes out. It transmutes out. You're doing so many amazing things. I mean, you're doing the mortgage lending. We're helping people get into their homes, which is another amazing service. The restaurant, which is a place to gather and have a great time. I've been there many times. Fund a need. How are you able to like for someone who's watching who is interested in going into business or has their own businesses? How do you stay organized? Like, how do you manage those different entities successfully?
Obviously, you have to have a good tribe. We talked about this earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Have a good tribe. Involve people. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable. Vulnerability, I think people take it the wrong way, like it's a weakness. It's not. It's actually, it takes a lot of courage to be vulnerable.
Yes.
Use the resources around you. Social media. I know I kind of touched on how sometimes it could be so divisive, but at the same time, how do you think I've gotten as far as with Fund a Need? It was through social media.
You do a great job with it.
I didn't have enough funding to do these extravagant events. So use those resources. It could be whatever business that you're doing. You're opening a business in a community. Get in contact with your city officials there, the city council, mayors, the police department. They'll help you. Use that as a resource to gain help and support your friends and family that are going to support you. Don't be afraid. Take those steps. Is it going to be all easy? No, but again, getting out of your comfort zone. You're going to learn from it. You're going to have your hurdles. You're going to, every day we continue to have those.
Always. Because how are you going to grow if you don't have the hurdles? I mean, the hurdles grow you. They elevate you.
If I was going to say it's going to be easy, I'd be lying. You know, it's not going to be easy. Anything that you do is not going to be easy, but there's resources out there that we can use that can help. You know, one is each other, you know, even in the social media platform. And again, I mentioned in your cities, reaching out to them because I know they were help to me when I started Fund and Eat and the restaurant. And there's also resources. Don't be afraid. Don't listen to the haters and the naysayers, because you will have those haters and naysayers.
Yes.
Prove them wrong. You know, prove them wrong. And don't think you have to do everything 100%.
Progress. Progress. And it's better done than done right.
Yeah. Don't think you know, if you have to have a list of things that you're going to accomplish that day. Yeah. If that works for you, great. Don't beat yourself up if you didn't do all of it. Just say, great, I'm so glad I got that one done because I know that was my toughest one.
Exactly. And celebrate what you got done. Also, I think sometimes when we have so much on our list, it's overwhelming. And what I've learned is just pick 3 top things for that day.
Yeah. Depending based on what you're doing, or if it's just bettering yourself and, you know, doing things with your own health, or it could be a family, it could be with the kids, and you know, not being so hard on yourself. And
100%.
sure, again, you take care of you. Use the resources around you. Ask questions. Don't settle. Ask questions and everything. I mean, it's like I say, that's how I am. Like I'm a sponge, right? Like when people know I am aggressive. You know, when I first had Fund and Eat, and I was trying to get supporters and people that would be on my board and stuff, I was aggressive. People were tired of me.
And was it really aggressive or was it persistent?
Persistent, I guess. Yeah, I guess that's a better word. And hey, to this day, if I was, you know, you set your mind onto it, it might not be 100%, but I put everything that I can into achieving that. And that's what's satisfying. Maybe it's not 100%, but, you know, don't be afraid to, don't beat yourself up thinking that has to be perfect, because it's not going to be. And that's what makes it actually you. And that's what makes it unique to you.
Yes. And there's no such thing as perfectionism. It's that's an illusion.
Yeah, there isn't, you know, perfection. It's
and it holds us back. It's really actually self-sabotaging. So if there's something that you want to do, don't wait until you think you need to do this and have this and this to do it. Just do it, because that's how you're going to get better, is just by doing it.
Absolutely. And working through that. You know, I'll give the restaurant as an example. I mean, we didn't know, no one knew COVID. We opened up and, you know, 6 months later, COVID hits. Like, you know, it changes you upside down. But we could have, you know, sat there, all of us and my partners and everyone, just kind of been down, and we didn't do that. We just said, okay, this is the reality. This happened. Okay, what now? How can I fix it? Let's not don't dwell on what's already happened, because you can't change that. You know, I can't change what I just said 2 seconds ago. So, you know, focus on, okay, plan B. I know this is how it has worked for me. I know it sounds cliche when I say plan B, but to say, first, what, you know, feeding in your soul, what's your heart telling you, right? Like there's that gut. Always listen to your gut. There's
always people
never lies, that gut. Never. and then work towards that. And then when you put that, like the wanting to achieve and the love in there and the compassion, trust me, it works out. You know, when people say it works out, but you got to put those efforts, positive efforts into bringing that into alignment.
Yes. Exactly. And I love the word alignment. It's like you have to have the intention, take the action, and make sure that it's in alignment. And what does alignment mean? For me, it means just when I think about what I'm doing, it feels good right here.
Yeah. It kind of, you feel it, don't you, in a physical sense? Like there's, you know, I'm thinking of taking, one of the reasons why I'm actually going to be going to Turkey too is because I want to research more on how I can take Fund and Eat globally, right? So
beautiful.
So I want to start from my own home country, and I mean, talking about impoverished people all over the world. And I know that that's going to be a lot of big things coming my way as far as how I'm going to maneuver through that. But if I can start in any step, any one part, I always say the thing for Fund a Need, helping seniors one hand at a time, literally one person at a time. If you've done that, and that's the goal that I think of when I say globally. I'm not saying millions, who knows, that might happen too, which is all great. But if I can touch one senior maybe in Europe or in the Middle East or in Africa or anywhere else, that's really the goal right now. So I'm very excited to hopefully.
That's exciting. And you know what my spirit is telling me? You absolutely will touch more than one.
Yeah.
Across the globe.
It's
Absolutely.
People are amazing. Volunteers are, people are actually truly heart-wise like amazing.
They are.
We're like good.
People are inherently really good, wonderful.
Right. And it's like I see it all the time with Fund a Need, again, with the volunteers and people that put so much time and effort, and just I'm always like, wow, blown away by it. And it's like, wow, it's amazing to be able to see the goodness, and let's bring more of those good things out, from each other, and build on that, and unite each other in a good, positive way, without putting names into it, without having to have, hashtags into it. It's just changing in a positive way.
I agree. I'm with you. I agree.
Yeah.
Just what can we do to make things better? And I think if we show up in a loving and kind and giving way, that starts with us.
Yes, just instilling kindness to each other or to our kids, and hopefully the legacy continues. I know my grandparents somehow instilled something in me for me to have started Fund a Need, right? And I continue on that legacy because, that kind of makes people live on forever, and bury that. And what other more beautiful way to honor anyone, whether they're your seniors or people that volunteer. It's goodness, and it's contagious. Let's make it contagious,
Oh, I love that. It's goodness and it's contagious. And I believe that. I believe that. I believe, like you said, the goodness, a smile, a kindness. If you see someone who is having a bad day, instead of barking back at them, give them a smile, because most likely that's what they need. They need a little bit of love. They need some goodness, and you'll see how they'll soften up right away.
Exactly. I think naturally, innately, we have the goodness in us.
Absolutely.
Whether we're going through things at that moment, who knows? We all have a story, and we should all kind of be mindful of that. Yeah. Whatever we're doing, whether we're outside, being more mindful of the way we're touching people in a negative or positive way, and kind of seeing more depth into that. And does this mean that you can't? You have to be strong. I come from my background of finance and banking, and now I'm doing residential lending, and that kind of came from really, again, I looked at it in a love and compassion way. I said, okay, I'm kind of done with the banking side, the retail banking side. I've done everything there that I can. How can I now still carry this with me and do something, but like literally making dreams come true of home ownership? And now I'm loving doing that, because to me, it's a lot of work, paperwork, this and that, but in my mind, that's how I see it. So I go with that passion.
Oh, I love that.
My 110% into it, because it's like, who doesn't? I remember when I bought my first house, who doesn't? And hopefully, especially in this Bay Area, if I can help people into achieving that, it makes this so much worthwhile. So you have to be strong. You have to be, the confidence has to be there. And I'm still polishing myself. I think we all do. I'm still learning.
We all do. And it's what else I got from you is like having to have a passion for what you do, what you're doing. And if it's something that you're like, okay, this is not working, what is working about it? And I remember when I got into staffing, I was so into the numbers and the bottom line that I was going crazy. It wasn't working. And I loved what I was doing, but it started to get to me. And so then I shifted it like you did. I said, you know what? No, it's not about sales. It's about building relationships and helping people find their dream jobs. And then from there, it was just smooth sailing. Well, it wasn't smooth sailing, but like, okay, that's how I'm being of service.
Because now you're putting that love and compassion. It was more smooth, flowing. And even if you had to maneuver through those challenges, you were able to do it because you knew that you were on that, like, vision was good.
Exactly. Because I was being of service.
Yeah, and you affect people, and now, like, imagine all the people that you've opened this amazing door to, that they
Thank
can,
you.
we can all learn from each other. Just amazing. Again,
Thank you.
hats off to you on that.
Thank you. Thank you.
I look at the restaurant, even, the restaurant, people have been so lonely and isolated, right? Through, again, the pandemic. I realize what important of what our business does to people.
For sure. Are you kidding me? I can't wait to come out.
In America, it's like, it's Friday, happy hour, or it's like you're having a bad day, so you meet someone for like dinner or what have you.
Mhm.
And we do a lot more than just provide food.
Oh, yes, we do.
And
Yes, we do.
so we capitalized on that. Or I said, hey, it's like literally our home. When my friends come there, or when you come there, when anyone comes there, we want them to feel like they're home,
Mhm.
comfortable. And we see it like that. So we put the heart into that, whether it's, of course, the food, the staffing, and making you feel comfortable when you come in. And that really goes a long way. That is sometimes usually what triggers your success. When you carry that, the success comes along, and sometimes you don't even realize that that's what it is, but it is.
I agree with you 100%. There's a book I love. It's called The Go-Giver.
Oh,
It,
okay. I'm
it
gonna have
talks
to check.
about how, regardless if you are, you know, the CEO or if you're the facilities person, like you
Mhm.
always treat everyone with love and kindness. It doesn't matter who they are, because when you can connect with them that way and make them feel special, they keep
Yeah.
coming.
You're still who you are. I grew up very poor, family, very humble, but we were very rich in heart, and love, and very, very lucky and fortunate for that. And so I really appreciate what I have now, and I know the difficulties, what my mom sacrificing, coming here, not knowing the language, raising
Mhm.
us. Can you imagine this woman? If she's not superwoman, like, then who is? Like, she taught my brothers and I how to drive. She doesn't even have an elementary school education.
God bless.
Amazing, and that's why she's like my role model. If I can instill and carry on and be even 10% of her and carry that, then I'm lucky. So
Girl,
you
it's
recognize,
amazing.
you really appreciate, what you have. And when you do have that, I know, for the first thing that I thought of is like, how could I be a resource? How can I give back? Again, I'm not trying to say this to sound cliche, like, oh, so I wanted to give back, not just the holidays, and not just, but give back, not, monetary way. Uh, Most of the seniors we help in touch, we do fun events. I mean, we used to do them, because now with COVID, it's been kind of social events. We've taken, we do with kids, we take the kids there, we'll have fun with them. A lot of the things we do with fun, and it does that because they're so lonely and isolated.
And again, it goes back to community, connection,
Yep.
kindness. And
And
I think Gandhi said it. It's the greatest way, the most fulfillment we get is from being of service. And that's exactly what you're doing for so
yep.
many in the community.
Feed
It's been
yourself.
amazing to have you on today. Amazing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for so many people. And so now tell our audience like how they can get in touch with you if they want to learn more about each of your businesses, or what's the easiest way to get in touch with you to maybe
Social media. I'm on social media. I have an Instagram page, and I think we'll provide the links to that. Message me. I'm happy to, call me, message me for anything. If you need maybe advice or anything, or need a resource, I'm always here. Or maybe you want to do a partnership on something with Fund and Need or anything else. I'll even give my cell number, 650-504-7578. Again, social media is out there, so feel free to reach out. And yeah, I'm always here in the area.
We love it. And we'll go ahead and share your information. We'll have it written up in the episode on the bottom. Let them know how to get in touch with you if they want to volunteer or whatever it is that they want. It was such an honor and pleasure to have you here.
I'm honored to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me as
a
guest.
It was my pleasure.
Out there listening. Yeah.
Thank you.
They enjoyed.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. And thank you everyone who joined us live. And for those of you listening, I'm really grateful. I appreciate you. And if you enjoyed this episode, please feel free to share and to give us a rating. That would really be wonderful. Thank you so much. We appreciate you and wish you a fantastic rest of your day.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye. Hey, love, thank you so much for listening today. I am so grateful for you. I'd like to show you my appreciation by gifting you a free forgiveness self-hypnosis audio download. Part of living the fun and fabulous life is practicing forgiveness. Forgiveness can be such a long and challenging process. My intention is that this forgiveness audio will help you in practicing forgiveness, especially with yourself. Grab it by visiting daretoachieve.com/forgiveness. For more inspiring tips, make sure to connect with me on social media. Drop me a line on Facebook or Instagram at Grace Redman Dare to Achieve. Until next time, keep moving forward towards living your fabulous life.